I cried, and I'm happy, but there's still justice that needs to be served out there.
Friends say they're relieved after a man was charged in the murder of Chris Beaty. Beaty was an Indianapolis businessman and a former IU football player who was shot the night of the riots. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Phil Sanchez.
And I'm Brooke Martin. Police say 23-year-old Marcus Anderson is responsible for his death. News 8's Demi Johnson is live downtown, and Demi, authorities have shared more information about just what happened that night.
Yeah, investigators say Anderson didn't act alone. He was with a group of 4 other people, and they committed several other crimes the night Chris Beaty was murdered right here near Vermont and North Talbot Streets. It's an area of downtown a close friend of Beaty's tells me she can't bring herself to go near.
I feel like Chris is also helping us find the people that did this.
Lifelong friend Bree Keogh-Edwards says that's just the kind of guy Chris Beaty was, always helpful.
I can't call him anymore, so that it hits because I forget sometimes, that he's not around. And when I remember, I get sad, and I can't seem to delete his contact from my phone.
In the same way she holds on to his contact, Keogh-Edwards continued to hold on to hope she and others in Beaty's life would have answers, even when it didn't seem possible.
The one camera that did, catch a little bit, it was too far away. And, this happened at dark time.
A dark time in the city. Investigators are now piecing together. They believe a group of 5 people, including Marcus Anderson, committed 3 robberies and attempted a 4th the night Beaty was killed. This all happening within a 2-block radius. According to texts on Beaty's phone, he was going to check on his apartment building as the riots were happening. He walked through an alley where multiple robberies had already occurred. Court documents show he was shot 4 times by Anderson. At the scene, investigators found items that had been stolen, connecting the robberies to Beaty's murder.
He's just walking down the alley at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he's confronted with someone who is being robbed. And unfortunately, during the course of that robbery, Mr. Beaty lost his life. 4
of the suspects have been identified. Marcus Anderson, Dorian Morrell, who was shot and killed that same night, Elijah Jones, Morrell's brother, and Nakia Shields, Morrell's girlfriend.
I'm really hoping that their conscience comes into place and they just turn themselves in. I mean, how can you sleep at night every night knowing that you murdered someone?
Marion County Prosecutor Ryan MEARS says other suspects will be charged in relation to Chris Beaty's murder and the robberies. Live downtown, Demi Johnson, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Demi, thank you very much. IMPD Chief Randall Taylor says detectives immediately got to work to hold the suspects accountable. In a statement, he said, as Indianapolis continues to grieve the loss of this fixture of our community, a role model, mentor, helper, and friend to so many, we will remain dedicated to working with the Marion County Prosecutor's Office to ensure justice for Mr. Beaty and his family.
Prosecutor Ryan MEARS said today that there are still around 30 open cases from that same weekend, but authorities can't move forward with jury trials because of COVID-19. MEARS told us there is one thing that is helping investigators.
We have a ton of surveillance footage of what went on, but just because you have surveillance footage, you still have to identify people, and you have to be able to figure out who was involved. And so there's a number of incidents and issues that we are continuing to follow up on, that IMPD is continuing to follow up on. So this is by no means the end of criminal prosecutions.
MEARS says he expects trials to resume in January.